WPTV.
Oh, welcome back to the desk. Position players follow pitchers and catchers into spring training. Exhibition games will get underway this weekend. And joining us to break down everything on the diamond, we have Anthony, Joe, and Jimmy. Joe, let's start with you. A lot of guys came off of a tough 2020 season with all of the extraterrestrial things that were going on during that season. It was a very odd MLB season. But who is your potential breakout candidate for the season?
I'm going to go with a guy who has been compared to Mike Trout in recent headlines. Luis Robert, outfielder, Chicago White Sox. We saw him in limited time last year. The strikeouts are a problem. There's no doubt about that. If he can get that contact rate up and cut those strikeouts down, the guy has an explosive bat. He had 9 batted balls with 110 plus exit velocity. We're talking he's on the same level as guys like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton as far as hitting the ball hard. He's got monster power, prodigious speed, and he's going to be playing for the White Sox team that has not only division aspirations, but World Series aspirations.
People in Chicago definitely have World Series aspirations, and I think the people of Chicago are definitely happy that the team, because the Cubs definitely aren't contenders anymore, but the White Sox are contenders again. Anthony, who you got?
When you have Vladimir Guerrero in your blood, you're bound to be good, right? I'm going with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This dude, he's only 21 years old. He came up a few years ago, and people said that he hasn't really come to fruition yet. He was only 19. He's still only 21 years old. He still has a lot of time to grow. He's also slimmed up a ton this year. I think he's lost 41, 42 pounds, looking a lot leaner at first base and third base for that matter, looking a lot better hitting the ball. This guy's going to have a huge season.
Can't wait to see it because he is definitely one of the more exciting young players. Jimmy, who you got?
As a Yankee fan, it kind of hurts me to say this, but I'm going to stay in Toronto with AWOC. Give me Nate Pearson. This is a guy last year in his MLB debut went toe-to-toe with Max Scherzer. They came out with a loss, but here's a guy who can dot the corner at 98 miles per hour, give him that wipeout slider. Blue Jays haven't really had that young kind of ace since like Roy Halladay, so look for him to hopefully not against the Yankees, look him to wreak havoc in the AL East for years to come. He's got a lot of great stuff, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun to watch, and you brought up the Yankees. So I think that Gleyber Torres will be a breakout candidate. I know he broke out a few years ago, but he kind of struggled last season. So I do think he'll bounce back and have a very nice season for the New York Yankees. And speaking of New York, the Mets have got themselves in some headlines with some teams in the NL West. But the Padres and the Mets are both getting a lot of love from the odds maker. Anthony, we'll start with you. Who do you think ends up with more wins this season?
I'm going to give the Padres a very, very slight advantage. I love what they did with Blake Snell. I love what they did with Yu Darvish. The Mets, on the other hand, I love what they did with Francisco Lindor and James McCann. I still think if they added a piece like George Springer or Trevor Bauer or JT Realmuto, I would probably put them ahead of the Padres. I think they're one big piece away or two from really taking that next step.
Jimmy?
I'm going to agree with AWOC here. You know, when you get the Mets, when you get expectations, bad things happen with your Mets fans. So I'm going to take the Padres. You got a lot of young talent. I think the Mets have a lot of more boom or bust potential, especially the lineup. A lot of great big power hitters in there. You know, Lindor, Alonso, Dom Smith. A lot of guys that can either have huge seasons or strike out 4 times a game. Like AWOC said, you got to love the additions that the Padres made. It's going to be a coin flip. I like both teams to be contenders in the NL, but give me the Padres ultimately.
Joe, we got any love for the Mets here? Because I know two picks for the Padres.
Trust me, we do. The Mets, pound for pound, position by position, especially offensively, have much more potential than the San Diego Padres. I'm looking at an outfield of Nimmo, Smith, and Conforto. That absolutely trounces the Padres outfield, no matter how you split it. Tommy Pham is nice. Trent Grisham had a great year last year, but it's not those 3 guys. And, of course, the Mets rotation with DeGrom at the top and Syndergaard potentially coming back, I think the Mets have the edge here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Joe. I think that the teams may end up with, like, the same record. I think something like that may happen, but I do see 95-plus wins for both of these teams. But if I had to pick one for a series, I'm taking the Mets due to their starting pitching. Now, speaking of the Padres, one of their star players, I think he's the most exciting player in the MLB for young kids. And people love to watch this guy play. Fernando Tatis Jr. just signed a massive extension, 14 years, tons and tons of money. He's going to be in a Padres uniform probably the rest of his career. Jimmy, did he deserve this money?
Well, you can't think of it as actually how much does he deserve versus what it really is, which is an investment into their future as the face of their franchise. So, I mean, it's 14 years, 340 million. That's only about like 24 per year. That's not too bad. That's an organization-friendly deal, I would say, for a guy that applied to a player like he is. He got hit for power, he hit for speed. He's got the flashy glove. He's got the smile, the hair. He does it all. And give him the money.
Anthony?
$24 million a year. That's how much you're paying this guy for the next 14 years of his career, which isn't a lot at all. I mean, this is a guy who was definitely in the MVP running for a large portion of last year. I know he kind of fell off at the end. I get that, but he killed it in the postseason. Batted .318 with a .444 on base percentage. He's going to be in a Padres uniform until he's 36. So in terms of depth, that's not a bad deal at all for San Diego. I think it's a great deal for both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, Tatis is fun. He's great for the game. He does not deserve this contract yet. We haven't even seen a full season of games from the guy. His defense, his rookie year, was below average. Got a little better last year. Still below average. He doesn't walk like at all. He's getting a little better. The walk rate's going up, but he swings at a lot of pitches out of the zone. He's got great power, great speed. It needs to refine.
Joe. He has a .366 on base percentage. What do you mean he doesn't walk?
A lot of balls in play. He doesn't walk enough for my taste. I like to see that in the high 300s, low 400s. If you're talking about the elite of the game, has that not Juan Soto 400 on base percentage or that Aaron Judge 400.
I mean, that's just such a high bar, though, don't you think?
Yeah, because the guy just got a monster. The guy just got a monster deal.
He's better to pay him too early than too late.
I'm not saying might he deserve it in a year or two. I'm saying at the time, right now, I need to see more than just a full season, basically. Essentially, he's only had one full season, 6.5 WAR season. That's borderline MVP caliber. That's not top 3 player. That's not Mookie Betts. That's not Mike Trout. And that's the bar. That's the bar I think that people are setting for him.
Oh, you guys are getting a little spicy here. Let's all calm down. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Tatis does with this monster extension. I'm gonna tune in to see the Padres play because they have an exciting team. But on a serious note, the Seattle Mariners CEO Kevin Mather, he put in his resignation after a revealing Zoom video. It just showed his true thoughts on player salaries, interpreters, and a lot of different controversial issues. Quickly, we'll just go around to everybody. What are your thoughts on this? Just shoot out, because I think it's a shame, and I think it's a shame for the Mariners organization because they have a lot of the talent who aren't from America, and interpreters are very important, and Mather just didn't care about them, didn't want to pay them.
No, absolutely. It's very unfair for Mather to alienate probably some of the best players of the last decade for the Mariners in Felix Hernandez and Ichiro. Both of them have had to use interpreters, and for him to come out against it is ridiculous. And it's going to be bad for the Mariners, not just for this reason, as it's going to be difficult for them to get free agents now, but also bragging about manipulating players' service time and holding them down in the minor leagues just so you can get an extra year of control is terrible. It goes against the belief of trying to win, and it's an insult to the players, the fans, and the organization.
Anthony?
Kevin Mather had sexual harassment allegations from 2009, 2010 come out about him, I think in 2018. So at that point, I feel like he definitely should have been fired, right? But let's just talk about what Mather has done in a 45-minute Zoom call with on Zoom the other day. He alienated his top prospect, Jared Kelenic, alienated anyone with an interpreter, which includes another one of his top prospects, Julio Rodriguez. Also, side note on that, if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, I don't know how you can't afford to pay $75 grand to an interpreter for a year, but that's just me. You've also alienated and colluded against your face of your franchise, and Kyle Seager saying that you're probably not going to re-sign him. Mather might be gone now, right? He resigned, right? He's gone. But the Mariners still have to clean up his mess, and that's going to be a very difficult task to do.
Jimmy?
I think Joe and AWOC really hit all the T's on it. I mean, it's just horrible to see. Team with a lot of young up and coming talent like Rodriguez, like Kellenic. These are guys that you want to ultimately make happy and ultimately establish as potentially faces of your franchise, especially now your current face of your franchise, Kyle Seager. You already let him know that he's going, so that hurts you potentially in a trade now if you want to trade him. So it just hurts all the way around. You can only hope that it's not a reflection of other people within the organization that felt the same way that he did. But they're gonna have to clean it up, and just a bad situation.
Yeah, it's a very bad situation, and hopefully the Mariners can get this together. I truly hope that they do. But until then, we will see. But coming up next on the desk, we have the NBA crew as they're going to discuss the scorching hot Brooklyn Nets. So stick around here on WP Sports Desk.